Why is it that the most spiritually gifted souls so often find themselves born into the most painful, dysfunctional families? Why are those who see beyond the surface and feel life more deeply often cast as outsiders, misunderstood, rejected, and isolated within their own homes? It's not a coincidence, it's a calling. Your suffering is not a punishment, it's preparation. Carl Jung, the renowned psychologist and philosopher, taught that we are each born with the potential for individuation, the lifelong journey toward becoming our truest, most complete self. But for some, that journey begins not in peace, but in chaos. For those destined to raise the collective consciousness, transformation starts in the eye of the storm. It's no accident that your family may have felt more like a battleground than a sanctuary. Jung once said, "The privilege of a lifetime is to become who you truly are." But here's the hard truth: who you truly are is not discovered in comfort. It is forged in conflict. When your upbringing is marked by manipulation, control, rejection, or neglect, you are forced to seek love and truth beyond the people who are supposed to offer it. That search leads you inward and upward to your higher self, to divine connection, to something greater. Toxic families don't create your gifts, but they do shape them. The constant invalidation, emotional turbulence, and pressure to prove your worth become the very crucible that awakens your spiritual power. That's why the black sheep are often the most awakened souls in the room. You are not the only one who sees through the illusion. You are the one who feels what others are too afraid to face. While they stay asleep in comfort, you were forced to awaken early. You were taught about love through contrast. You mastered empathy by tasting cruelty. You were called to consciousness, not in spite of your suffering, but because of it. This isn't just poetic, it's deeply psychological. Jung taught that transformation requires confronting the shadow, the unconscious, wounded parts of ourselves. You were born into darkness, not to become it, but to transcend it, to understand it, alchemize it, and turn it into wisdom. If your family mocked your sensitivity, suppressed your intuition, or dismissed your emotional needs, they didn't realize they were building something unstoppable, your spiritual immunity. You stopped seeking external validation. You learned to listen to your inner voice. You stood tall when everyone around you tried to tear you down. And here's the plot twist. Your soul chose this. You didn't come here for ease. You came for mastery. From a young age, you were challenged to protect your peace in chaos, to stand in your truth.
If you were shamed for being different, punished for speaking your truth, or made to feel invisible, know this: you are not cursed. You are chosen. And being chosen doesn't start in the light. It begins in the shadow. A shadow that often wears the faces of those closest to you. Jung warned that unhealed family trauma creates complexes, emotional wounds passed down unconsciously, shaping our behaviors. And you, the cycle breaker, were born into the heart of that storm. A toxic family system isn't random. It's a karmic classroom. You incarnated to awaken, not despite it, but through it. When love is conditional, when authenticity is punished, when you're told you're too much or not enough, you're being pushed into early spiritual awakening, not because you are weak, but because your soul was ready. Ready to remember your worth without applause, ready to heal the invisible patterns passed through generations, ready to become whole. Jung taught that wholeness only comes through confronting what is hidden, and you were born into a family where the hidden ruled. That wasn't a mistake. It was your mission. Every toxic family has a scapegoat, the one who questions, resists, and refuses to comply. They're labeled difficult, dramatic, selfish, but they're often the most spiritually evolved person in the room. You weren't born to maintain dysfunction. You were born to dismantle it. That rebellion, it doesn't always roar. Sometimes it looks like silent strength, like crying alone and still choosing to believe in your truth, like healing what wasn't yours to carry. So it ends with you. Being the odd one out hurts, yes, but it's sacred because only those outside the system can truly see it, and only those who see it clearly can change it. Toxic families don't just neglect your needs, they train you to neglect yourself. They assign roles, caretaker, achiever, invisible, and reward your silence while punishing your truth. But under the surface, something miraculous happens. Alchemy. Every time your truth is rejected, you learn to honor it more deeply. Every time control is disguised as love, you reclaim your sovereignty. Every time gentleness is withheld, you become a source of it. This isn't to romanticize pain, but to honor its role in awakening. These wounds didn't break you, they broke you open. They turned you away from conditional love and guided you back to unconditional truth, to source, to self, to the soul. Your family was your first spiritual battlefield. And like all warriors, your soul did not train in peace. It trained in fire. You chose the... Now, let's talk about what happens after the awakening begins. When your light starts to break through, not everyone celebrates. In fact, toxic people often react with resistance, ridicule, and manipulation. Not because you're wrong, but because your healing threatens the illusion they're still clinging to. Your clarity is a mirror, and not everyone is ready to see their reflection. So staying grounded is no longer optional, it's necessary. You're not here to gain their approval. You're here to stay connected to your truth. When you maintain your frequency, no external chaos can knock you off course. So how do you protect your light when surrounded by people who don't understand your path? Here are 3 spiritual tools that are not just comforting, but transformational. 1. The spiritual umbilical cord. Visualize a radiant cord of light extending from your navel to the source, God, the universe, your higher self. This isn't just a metaphor, it's your divine lifeline. Whenever you feel drained, judged, or unseen, return to that image. Feel love, strength, and clarity pouring into you. Your nervous system responds to what you believe. When you believe you're supported, your body calms, your spirit strengthens, and your soul remembers it was never alone. 2. Stop taking their projections personally. Toxic environments repeat one narrative: you're too much, you've changed, you're selfish. But Jung reminds us, this is projection. Their accusations reveal more about their inner wounds than your truth. When you're shamed or attacked, pause and remind yourself, that's not me, that's their shadow. You're not perfect, but you no longer carry shame that doesn't belong to you. That's not pride, that's sovereignty. 3. Boundaries are sacred, not betrayal. You don't owe anyone unlimited access to your energy, especially those who dim your light. Distance isn't cruelty, it's clarity. You can love someone and still protect your peace. In fact, real love includes boundaries. Being chosen means you're here to honor truth over tradition, soul over obligation, freedom over familiarity. You didn't come here to play small. You came here to awaken, to heal, and to lead. And while the path begins in shadow, it ends in light. You are not broken. You are becoming. And that is your sacred power. If this message spoke to your soul, you're not alone, you're awakening. Subscribe to Stoic Trench for more deep truths and spiritual clarity.